Everyone knows that Bryan is back in custody in Moscow at the Latah County Jail, but I think a lot of people would be surprised at just how tiny this jail actually is. To put things into perspective, here's a picture of the Spokane County Jail, which is about 90 miles north of Moscow in Spokane, Washington. It's big, it's got those typical jail-type windows. This would be a difficult place to escape from, and it can hold upwards of 700 inmates. Going into southern Idaho, here's a picture of the Boise Jail, which is so big that I couldn't even find a picture that had all of it in one photo. This place has the barbed wire fence and the big perimeter and can hold over 1,200 inmates on any given day. And now to the Latah County Public Library. Jail. Seriously though, this is the jail where Bryan Kohberger is being held. I have seen libraries that are bigger and more imposing than this place. This jail has a capacity of only 42 inmates and employs 12 people to staff it. So to think that it is holding the highest profile criminal in the country right now is pretty crazy. This place is so unlike other jails that I've actually driven past it for years without ever realizing that it was a jail. If you look at this map, this section over here is going to be the courthouse, and that's where Bryan has been making his court appearances. Then after that, they would walk him over to this side over here, which is going to be the jail. And it is tiny. And here's the parking lot, which interestingly enough, dwarfs both the courthouse and the jail combined. And then like any small town jail, it wouldn't be complete without the local high school right across the street. This jail is so small that it actually only has 21 inmates right now, including Bryan. Which is insane when you think that other relatively nearby jails have 700 inmates, 1,200 inmates, or even more. I think a lot of people would expect that such a high-profile case that's so gruesome that the suspect would be held in some super max security facility. But for Bryan, it's pretty much the exact opposite. The majority of jails in the US now are going to look like this on the inside. This is pretty standard. And here are pictures from the inside of the Latah County Jail where Bryan is being held. This place looks like it's straight out of an old Western movie. It's got the bars that the inmates can just reach through. It looks like every cell has to be individually opened with a key. Now, I'm not saying that this place doesn't look like it's super secure, but I am saying, let's hope nobody bakes Bryan a cake with a file in it. All jokes aside, after seeing pictures of the inside of the jail, it is clear that it was never meant to hold really violent type criminals. And not that this really matters a ton, because I do believe the jail will be able to hold him totally secure. But it is crazy to think that the highest profile criminal in the country right now is being held at a jail this tiny. Anyways, those are just my thoughts on it. I thought this would provide some interesting perspective to some people. Let me know what you all think. Should Bryan be held somewhere more secure, or do you think he's just fine where he's at?